Hey guys, Akal here. Welcome back into our next module. So this is module 3 of the full network configuration. So this is Huawei ICT competition 2019-2018. In this third module, what we are going to implement is WLAN. So as you all know, WLAN is a very simple and very short and very interesting topic, and you're going to see how we can implement WLAN in a layer 3 roaming. So that is in a case where like the AC and the CAPWAP and the AP are on different networks. So how do you go about in that scenario? Like you find that this is not a layer 2. Like layer 2 is very simple to configure because the AP and the AC are on the same broadcast network. So it's just configuring the forwarding mode and everything. But in this case, the AC, that is AC1 here, is on the CAPWAP source of 8.8.8. That is the loopback, while the AP here is on the network of 10.1.15.0. So they are on different networks. So how will they be able to communicate at different networks? How will they be able to establish a CAPWAP tunnel between them? So let's see so this is just the topology. So this is just the what we've been configuring. So we go straight away to the WLAN and see what are the requirements. The most important thing is that we already set the layer 3 communication between the AC and switch 1. So we go just to implement the WLAN. So let's see here. So the requirement is configure layer 3 interworking between APs, ACs and neighboring network devices. All APs and wireless terminals obtain IP address through DHCP. Use the global mode of switch 1 to configure DHCP services for APs and STS. The global address pool names are AP1 and Huawei respectively. So this is the plan. AP1 AP management VLAN is VLAN 15, STM manager VLAN is VLAN 20. The DHCP server switch 1 acts as the DHCP server to assign IP addresses to AP. It also acts as the DHCP server to assign IP addresses to STA. And we are being told here the gateway for the STA is 10.1.20.13. IP pool of AP, the name is AP. And the network is 10.1.15.0/24. Then we are going to exclude the IP address of 10.1.15. The IP address pool for STA is 10.1.20.0/24. Then the source CAPWAP source interface is going to be 8.8.8. That is the loopback interface. And the AP to go online, we are going to use the MAC authentication, and the group we are going to create Huawei. Then AP name is AP1, and the regulatory domain is Huawei Q, and the country code we are going to use MY, and the SSID you are going to use the Huawei. So that's just the requirement. Then the security we are going to use Huawei, and the encryption mode we are going to use AES TKP, and the password we are going to set to Huawei 123. VAP is Huawei, and the forwarding mode is tunnel, and the service VLAN is VLAN 20. So that is just the requirement. The service requirement are those ones, just the same thing we'll be configuring. That is the service parameters. So let's just jump straight away into our configuration. So the first thing what we're going to do is let's first of all stop this our AP and copy the MAC address. We're going to stop that AP and copy the MAC address so that when we start the configuration, let's come here and copy its MAC address, because we said you're going to use MAC authentication. So you have to copy that MAC address and modify it. Let's now group it a group of 4. Put it into a group of 4. Okay, after that you start the device back. There's something that you are told. You are told that switch 1 here is going to act as the DHCP server, and you're going to configure the CAPWAP source on that. So enter switch 1, do the terminal. So on switch 1, we are going to enable DHCP. So DHCP enable. Then we create the IP pool. IP pool name, we said AP. IP pool AP. That is the pool for the AP. Then the network, we are going to say the network of 10.1.15.0, mask of 24. Then our gateway we are going to set to .1. So gateway list will be 10.1.15.1. Then you are told to exclude .2. It will be used in some places, so we exclude IP address of 10.1.15.2. After that, we are going to configure option 43. So option 43 is going to tell switch 1, switch is going to tell the AP the network where the AC resides. So it's going to tell the IP address of the AC. So option 43, sub option 2, then we give it the IP address of that CAPWAP source, so 8.8.8. So this let's display that and see. Okay, so that's it. Then we go and create the pool for the STS, which was said to Huawei. So after starting that, say the network will be 10.1.20.0, mask of 24. Then the gateway list. The gateway list will be 10. They said we use a gateway of. They said we use a gateway of .13. So 10.1.20.13. So then a DNS list, let's say DNS list use the same 10.1.20.13. Let's display that and see. Okay, after setting the DHCP server, let's save. And after setting the DHCP server, the next thing we are going to do now is to now configure the WLAN. So enter. So first of all, let's create the CAPWAP source interface. CAPWAP source IP address. CAPWAP source IP address was 8.8.8.8. That is the source interface for the loopback. So after that, enter the WLAN. In the WLAN view, we create an AP group. AP group is always the first thing to create. So the AP group, they said they give you a name of Huawei. In the AP group, you quit after creating the AP group, you create a regulatory domain. The regulatory domain profile name, they said Huawei Q, comma that. Then the country code, they said that we use MY. Country code MY. Say yes. After that, we quit and we bind that regulatory domain into the IP group. Then you bind the regulatory domain into that IP group. Say yes. Quit and enter the authentication mode. Authentication mode, we have got MAC authentication. So the MAC authentication, then you come here, you copy your MAC address, Control C, and AP MAC, you copy the MAC. After copying the MAC address, you add it to the AP, give it the AP name. AP name is said AP1. Then you add it into AP group, AP group Huawei. Say yes, and let's reset AP all, AP reset all. Say yes, and idle state. So display AP all and AP. Okay, so guys, we are still troubleshooting our network. So display AP all, and let's see. So our AP is still idle. So the reason here, and when we capture packet on that interface, so gig 7 here that connects to this SE1. When you capture packet, you can see it can't establish a CAPWAP tunnel. As you can see here, there is no CAPWAP tunnel establishment, meaning that AP and the SC, they are not able to communicate. Maybe the DHCP is still down. The DHCP cannot allocate IP addresses to the AP, and so that when the DHCP cannot allocate the IP addresses to the AP, meaning that the CAPWAP cannot be established. So we are trying to troubleshoot our network and see when you come to this our switch here. Display DHCP statistics. We play DHCP statistics. We have got 205 discoveries. We have discoveries, but there's no request, and there's no request. There's no IP address which have been released. So meaning that the problem is our DHCP. All right, let's check if we configure. We selected the DHCP on the interface. So interface VLANIF. The first one was VLANIF 15. Display this. Okay, there's only IP address on that interface, meaning that we didn't enable it to select the DHCP. So DHCP select global. After that, you do the same to VLANIF 15, VLANIF 20. I mean, VLANIF 20 also enable to select global, so that 20. So DHCP select global. So quit, and now let's display the DHCP statistics. When you display the DHCP statistics, now you can see there are two requests. There are two requests which have been made. Initially, we would only discover. So there are two requests which have been made. So it should be able now to release the IP. So when you come to where we are capturing our packet, so now you see the CAPWAP. Now the CAPWAP packet is now we have the protocol CAPWAP. Now it starts sending the messages. Let's now come to this and see if now the states. Let's see. Let's first of all, our network is still not stable, so let's let our network be stable, and then we check for that. It has not released the IP address yet, but when we check the CAPWAP, we can see the packet is now being exchanged. So display AP all. Wow, nice. Good. Thank you. Now you can see here. It has obtained an IP address of 10.10.1.15.254, and the state is a normal state. So the problem, guys, was just that we didn't enable the global on the interface. We just configured the pool, but we didn't enable it to select from the global view. Now after we've seen that it's a normal state, that's a positive, and it can lead us now to continue now with the now configuring the service parameters. So enter WLAN view and you configure the service parameters. So the WLAN view, we are going to configure the service parameter, which include the security and the SSID. So security name, we say name it Huawei. Then security WPA2, PSK, passphrase, and we use Huawei. Huawei 1.1.2.3 and the American Advanced Encryption Standard TKPAK, as they said in the practical. So after that, the next thing we are going to do is quit and configure now the SSID, the name that's going to appear when we want to connect to our Wi-Fi. So SSID name Huawei. For that SSID name, give it the name SSID Huawei. SSID, what can we give it? So what did they specify to be our SSID? Let's now check. SSID, they said SSID name is just Huawei. Let's just use Huawei as our SSID, but this case it should be capped. Huawei. Quit and now create the VAP profile. VAP profile name. We said Huawei. And this time they said we are using a tunnel forwarding mode. In a tunnel forwarding mode, meaning that the service packet has to go through the ACs when they are being forwarded to the upper layer. It's different with the direct forwarding, where in the direct forwarding the service packet doesn't have to pass through the AP. They are just forwarded up to the upper layer without going through the AC. So forward mode. So forward mode, you are supposed to use tunnel forward. So then the service VLAN is VLAN 20. Then we bind the SSID and the security profile. So SSI security profile Huawei, and SSID profile of Huawei. After that, we are going to bind the VAP profile into the AP group, and now the AP group is what we are going to configure the radios. So quit and enter the AP group view. AP group. AP group, we said name was Huawei, and the AP group, we are now going to bind the VAP profile name Huawei, then radio, radio WLAN 1, radio WLAN 1, radio, the first radio will be radio 0, and when you configure radio 0, if everything is configured correctly, the first circle should be able to be seen. Then the next thing we are going to do, as you can see, the first circle has come. That is for radio channel, for channel 1. The next we are going to do is to configure for channel 2. So VAP profile name Huawei WLAN 1 and radio 1. Channel 149 should also be able to come up. So then save our configuration, say yes. Okay. Let's now try and connect our pieces. So let's enter the authentication, and it's obtaining an IP address. Let's also configure this other station. So let's configure this other station, and this time we connect it on channel 149. Connected. So let's see the IP address that has been given. So let's see if it has obtained an IP address. ipconfig. You can see it has obtained an IP address of 10.1.20.252, and this other STA, has it obtained an IP address? It's connected. So let's see if it has obtained an IP address. So ipconfig. Yes, it's obtained an IP address of 10.20.251. Let's now come back to this hour and let's display DHCP statistics. So like you can see, the requests which have been made are now 5. The discovery and then the requests which have been made are 5. And when we capture packet on our interface, and you can see the CAPWAP, the hello packets are being exchanged at the OSPF, and the CAPWAP announcement are being made. So meaning that every configuration and everything we've configured is working properly. So that's the part we wanted to implement, that is the WLAN. So this was module 3. Module 1 was configuring layer 2 and layer 3, that is MSTP, VRRP, and also the link aggregation. And in our second module, we configured the OSPF, ISIS, that is for layer 3, and also the IGP. In our third module, we were to configure the WLAN. So the WLAN, we've configured the WLAN, and we see our APs are able to go online, and our stations are also able to get IP addresses from the DHCP server. So always, guys, when you encounter a problem, try to troubleshoot or use the try to capture the packet to see where you can find where the problem is. Like my network, I didn't configure the interface to enable the DHCP, so I captured the packet on that interface, and I saw very well that the CAPWAP tunnel was not established, meaning that the DHCP server didn't assign IP addresses to the APs. So without IP addresses, the CAPWAP channel cannot be established. So that's one of the way you can mitigate the fault of IP not being able to go online. So I hope you guys are enjoying these videos. I hope you're enjoying this practical revision. The most important thing that I always tell people, when you know you have theory and you integrate it with practical, you'll be very superb. Like you'll be undoubtable. Like you will match, you'll be fit everywhere. Even if you go for a job interview, that job will be yours. So thank you, and I hope you guys continue for subscribing to our channel, continue supporting our channel, and also continue if case you have something you don't understand well, you require a request, you can share that in the comment section so that I know the problem and I know how I can help out.